Don't mind my chocolate. Don't mind my chocolate. Alright. There's like something stabbing me in my leg, and it is the worst, and I don't know what's going on. And I'm upset about it. That's all. Nothing to see here. Alright, so I've had an absolute shite day. Some people, when they're having a bad time, they definitely like turn to projects like this and whatever, right? That's not me. Me, when I'm having a shite time, what I like to do is fucking read. But I have a lot to do, so I'm trying to get her done. As you can see, I got to where we were supposed to be as of the end of last night. So now I'm trying to figure out where we're going now. Which is apparently another 4 stitches. And by stitches, I mean another 4 rows. So, here we are. I'm super tired. So, one thing that's happened today is it seems I am going to be finding new employment. Because this place seems to be going downhill. And I don't want to be on a sinking ship. You know what I mean? This was not an easy decision to make. I like most of my coworkers. I don't particularly care for Cupcake. And Sunshine is gone. But I can't. I can't. I cannot. I have tried to stick it out as long as possible, and it's not working. It's not working because there are a lot of things that are happening that I don't want to be a part of. There's also a lot of mandates that I don't think are reasonable. So what bothers me about this is I used to work in healthcare. Okay. I actually worked in healthcare, by my count, from the time I was 16 till the time I was 30. Thereabouts. I left because I was at a space and place and time where I couldn't go any higher up the food chain. If I did, I was going to be starting from scratch, essentially. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to go up that food chain because that wasn't the direction I wanted to go to begin with. So it didn't make any sense for me to go and get training in something that was completely not in the right direction. Right? So after years of working in nursing, I finally quit. And I had taken breaks during that time and done other, worked other jobs and whatnot and moved around and stuff, but always came back to it. And the real coup de grace was when I went and let my license basically expire. Because in doing that, that was the nail in the coffin for me working in nursing. As I had managed to keep my nursing license all those years. And I finally said, you know what? I don't care. And there was like this great weight that was taken off my shoulders. So yeah. I had been holding on to it, like, just in case, right? And I didn't feel great holding on to it for that reason, because I didn't like it. I never meant to get into nursing. Now I'm very capable. I was actually very good at it. That's because of my attitude about work and the kind of worker I am and whatnot. But there were a lot of things about it I didn't really like. And so I didn't want to go back to that. Well, I had been considering for a little bit now going back to the medical field. I've been considering it because I'm familiar with it. I have no problem doing hard labor. I'm from the country. Like, seriously, whatever. No problems whatsoever. But what I do have a problem with is not being compensated enough so that I can fucking, like, survive and live. And that's basically where we're at now. It's like I'm struggling and I'm tired of it. So it's time to change course, right? This ship is not getting anywhere. Which means it's time to fucking jump off and find another one. So I've been thinking about it. And I was aware of some avenues that would lead me back into healthcare, not in the same way, but were accessible. And I said, well, I could do this because, to my knowledge, this is what this is. And to my knowledge, yes, that is what that is. Now, the funny thing is, right, some of what this job entails, I've already done. I already know how to do all that. Some of the other work that I'm considering or other training, I've already done that too. So this will be a cakewalk. This will be easy peasy. I will have no problems here. It'll be just kind of me passing time because I'll be, baseline familiar with this stuff. So that's where we are right now. This was not an easy decision to make, though. Like, I honestly, I feel like I'm failing because I left healthcare because it wasn't working out. And then I finally said, this is not a good place for me. I tried to get into the trades. That didn't work out. Then I tried to work in, automotive, and that's not working out. Like, the direction the company is going, what they're trying to do, the precedents that they're setting, where their focus is, I don't want to be part of any of that. The other thing with it is I have also, it's come to my attention that I'm going to have to get hernia surgery. And I am not going to be able to work this job and keep this job and take the time to recuperate. Now, I'm sure that they can't fire me for having to get a medical procedure, but they certainly can replace me. They certainly can reduce my hours. And I don't need to risk not being able to go back to work and therefore not having any income because I have to recuperate because I just had fucking surgery. And I have some other procedures that I plan getting taken care of. And those are also going to put me out because of just the extensiveness of, like, the surgery. So that means that this isn't going to work because that's going to be two separate instances at least where I'm going to have to take time off. And I'm going to have to take time off to recuperate because my job is so strenuous, because it is so physically demanding. I'm not going to be able to do it and do these things. And I guess that's kind of like the nail in the coffin about it for me. I'm like, there are things I want to take care of and I can't. I can't because I can't afford to take time off. I can't afford to not have access to, things. Which super sucks, by the way. So, obviously, we need to make a different choice. Now, in the field that I'm looking into going into, while, yeah, sure, I should definitely still take off to recuperate and all that, I can go back to work relatively quickly because I'm not going to be doing anything so physically strenuous that it even matters. Like, I could, as soon as if I can walk around and be lucid and like write down stuff, then I'm good to go. And I will definitely be able to do that stuff. So, yeah. And there's some additional training beyond what I'm like focusing on. And that's just the direction we're going to go. Because obviously what I've been doing is not working. So now the other thing with it is that on top of like all that like company stuff and whatever else, I can work where I'm working now for another 5, 6, 7 years and not make any more money than I'm making right now. Like, just as far as, paychecks and raises and stuff like that. For me, that's a problem. I'm not going to get like a higher pay because I have more experience. That's not how that's going to work. And the things that are going to affect my paycheck are going to be completely out of my control. Like if I take on more jobs that have more labor hours attached to them, if I take on more of those or take on enough jobs that it equals out, right? Sure, but those jobs have to be available. And I don't have any control over that. So, yeah. Also, it's not a direct jump, but there is a possibility to move from this space that I'm looking at into other spaces. And like this experience will help that. And so what we're doing is we're just doing what kind of seems like the sensible thing to do. Now, all that said, this was still a hard decision for me to make, just because I still feel like you left something because it wasn't working. Then you tried to do something else. It's not working. And who's to say that this is going to work? And the reality is there's nothing to say this is going to work. But I think I stand a better chance doing this than I do staying where I am. So, 142 is where this is. 143. So, yeah, this is a lot. This is tiring too. Now, that said, because I have to take classes and training and whatnot, I'm not going to be able to immediately leave. And I know that. But I was not thinking or implying or trying to make it look like I'm literally just going to get up and leave. That is like 100% not what's going on. But what is 100% going on? Is me freaking knocking stuff over. That's going on. So anyway, I don't know. I'm not really excited about this just because of like all the things that I feel about it. Like, this isn't bad. This is potential. And it has the potential to beat me. Oh my god. To leave me in a... Sorry. Let's... leave me in a much better... situation than I am right now. So... I can't argue with that. Like, I've got to make choices that make sense, right? Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I'm having trouble with this. I've been feeling like a failure and a schmuck pretty much all day. And having to come to this decision is not helping that. I've been fighting this. Now, here's the messed up part. I absolutely have been considering returning back to the medical field exactly in this fashion, like doing this. Like, for a while. Like, realistically, probably over a year. And, it kind of bugs me. It kind of bugs me that I've put myself through this hell for this long just to go and make this damn decision. Like, I could have done this already. But, you know, there's a lot of factors. Like, I'm trying to think of the big picture and the long haul with this. Like, I am not going to be able to keep doing this kind of hard labor, like, you know, later in life. It's already hard on me. It's not going to get easier. So, I have that to think about. And then beyond that, I mean, I'm probably not going to retire. Like, I don't know about y'all, but the whole idea of retiring is not one that I've ever found realistic. I'm not going to be able to probably maintain what I want to have and not be continuing to work. So I accepted a long time ago that retiring was probably not something I was ever going to do. So I need to consider, is what I'm doing something I can keep doing? Like, reasonably to the end of my life. And if it's something that, you know, for whatever reason, that's not going to be doable, that's kind of something to consider, you know? So, there we have it. This is like some weird fucking irony. And there's like a continuation plan. Like, the plan to go into engineering is still there. But we need to do something in the meantime until we can get there. And then I still don't want to be like working for an engineering firm. Like, I want the knowledge for my own personal edification and my work, not to benefit some like architectural firm, right? Or whatever. I don't want to do that. So, here we are. Here we are. Gosh, this is so depressing. Ugh, it's really hard not to feel like a failure. Now, the thing is, if you came to me and you were like, hey, I was doing this, it doesn't work for me, and I want to keep doing it, I'm gonna go do this instead. I'd be like, okay, cool. And then if you came to me and said, you know, I've been doing this, but I'm thinking that this is something I want to do, this thing over here, I'm gonna go ahead and try it out and see, and like prepare and like make attempts to get there, and like do what you can to like make yourself really ready, right? And then you try to do that thing, and it just doesn't work, right? And you know, I wouldn't say, hey, give up. I wouldn't say, you know, hey, look, maybe this is not going to work out. That's cool. Um, you know, you can keep trying, or you can try something else. And then you came and said, okay, well, this didn't work. This is kind of related, so I'm going to do this. Okay, cool. And then you're coming to me again, saying, this is not sustainable. I'm going to have to do something different. I feel really bad because I keep changing my mind. And I keep like, being flighty and like running off and doing this, that, and the other. And I would say, you know what? Whatever you need to do is whatever you need to do. And you don't need to feel any kind of way about changing your mind or readjusting course if that's what needs to be. Because the reality is, everything looks great on paper, everything works in theory. But in real life, it's a completely different thing. And sometimes things happen, you know, you have life changes and like shit come up and things that you didn't expect to deal with. Like, you have all kinds of things that can rock the boat or change course. And that's fine. Like, you're not doing anything wrong if you have to change course, right? You're just changing course. That's all you're doing. It doesn't need to be like a reflection on you as a person to say, oh, well, you keep changing course, so you obviously don't know what you're doing. Could it mean that? Yeah, sure. But is it mutually inclusive? No, it's not. And so obviously I need to be kinder to myself, because I would never tell someone who's done all this, which is my little sample story there. I would never tell them that they were a failure. One, I'm just not going to say that to anybody anyway, because it's not nice. So if you wouldn't say it to somebody else, why are you saying it to yourself, right? Which is a fair point. But also, you know, you're allowed to change your mind. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. No bigs. So, yeah, here we are. Just working away. So. Down to the last little bit of this. I'm a little upset that I'm not going to be able to do like a whole bunch because I'm just not going to have time. So this one says that means we're at 143. Okay, so this one, we're going to knit one, yarn over, knit two together, and repeat yarn over, knit one. Okay, so now we got to get our post-it out and like figure out stuff. Because it's doing funky doodle stuff again. Where it's going to change the amount of stitches probably. So we got 143. So those cancel each other out. So we got 1. We got plus 1. Minus 2. So that turns into 1. And it's not plus 1, it's minus 1. It says it's knit 2 together. My brain's like, it's 2, it's 2. It's not 2. It's an extra 1. Okay. And then we got 1, 1, and then so it's 3. It's 140. So 280. And it looks like it's going to be 283. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Don't mind me just eating Reese's Cups over here. Nothing to see here. So, I'm pretty sure that 283 is right. And this will be 144. All right. So this is going to be a long one because we're going to be adding a bunch of stitches. So we're going to, and a lot of times I'll do this: knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together. I'll like call out what I'm doing. We gotta work to the last stitch. So oh my gosh, hold on 1 second. Let's have another candy. Uh-oh. My timer. So. Yarn over. No one. Okay. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so tired. I do not know if we're going to make it to an hour with this because there's just not a lot to do, right? We've got one more row after this. We're only at half an hour and some change. Trying to remember to fix my posture. It's a lot of work. That's also weird. It totally has been a year since I've taken any classes with this place that I'm about to take. It's so weird. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you took this class back in April 2021. And I was just thinking, what? Really? Wow. That just seems like so long ago. And I mean, it is, right? It was a year ago. At the same time, I cannot believe that that happens. Like, wow. Last piece of candy. Two pieces of candy. Oh my goodness. I'm having a pep talk. Pep talk, excuse me. I'm having a pep talk with famous robot Sarah. She is excellent and encouraging. Which is great because I'm kind of floundering right now. To be completely honest, I'm having like a lot of thoughts come up that absolutely are not helpful and absolutely probably aren't really accurate. Like, hey, I made some mistakes. I've corrected them. This is a lovely shawl. It's really pretty. It's really soft. It's a great color, right? I'm doing a good job. Now, this isn't for sale, right? It's not. But I'm not selling as much stuff as I want to. Hello, Brianna. Or Brian. Brian. Toast. Hi, Toast. Brian. Hello, Brian. So right, my eyes are wanting to make that G an A. I was like, that's not right. That's not right. What did you used to make, Brian? And why used to? If you feel like answering, you don't have to. I'm waxing a little melancholic about making right now myself, so I get it. Oh, costuming is so cool. I love to just gawk at all the cosplay and the costumes and just, hear people like talk about how they came up with ideas and like the elements that they use to render certain effects. It's so freaking neat. That is awesome. I want to cosplay when I grow up and get big. Which is going to involve a lot of costuming and creativity to make that happen. So that is really cool though. This right here is just me making something for myself. I've had a really shit day. And so I need something that's not going to tax my brain too much, but that I'll enjoy doing. But that's also constructive because I could be reading right now and I don't think that that would be terribly constructive. I mean, I'll finish a book and then I'll turn around and start another one. It's like an endless cycle. I'm not complaining. I love reading. I do. I just heard about 7+ books I need to read per Twig. Twig was like, you must read these. I was like, oh. It involves monsters. And that's kind of all I got out of it. Because I was at work when Twig told me. So, very nice to have you here, Brian. Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious. Yeah, so what you missed is I think it was yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday, was it? Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. I completely jacked this up. I jacked this up to the tune of I had to rip back 2 whole lace panels because I messed it up that badly. It was great. And by great, I mean awful. So I was just really laughing at myself. That's what I was doing. I don't make nearly as many mistakes when I knit and I'm not on camera. I save all of my mistakes for when people can see me clearly. There's got to be a thing about that though, right? There's got to be a thing about that. Because I know I'm not the only one who fumbles and has trouble doing stuff when they're being watched. You become self-conscious all of a sudden. And if you were being watched and you didn't know it, and you didn't even get that weird feeling of, oh, somebody's looking over my shoulder, you probably wouldn't make as many mistakes. Like I think that absolutely plausibly could happen. Which then, like, what does that say about, like, your awareness of being watched? Right? So I don't know if you decided you did or didn't want to answer why you used to. But if you do feel up to it, I'm curious. Because I am. Oh, this lace is killing me. It looks nice, but it is kind of a bear. Okay, so this is the last row we've got. And we're going to drop all those yarn overs we just did. Which is going to make the holes a lot larger. Which is the whole point. The whole point. Oh, that was bad. That was awful. Like, what is wrong with you? So the dropping of the yarn overs, I think, is where I messed up the last time. Because I think I either skipped a yarn over and didn't realize it, like making one, or I didn't drop the stitch. And so it got all fuss bare. As you can see, because I am dropping these stitches, I'm going to move a lot slower. And like, knitting's not a race. But the sooner I finish with this, the sooner I can work on something else. That's where my head is with it. And it's like really exciting to start a project. It's considerably less exciting to finish one. Like, there's this, oh God, yes, that you get like when you finish something, right? Which is not the same as that, ooh, yay, I've started something feeling. Like, very different. And like, shout out to my makers who know exactly what I'm talking about. I also apparently just love starting projects. Finishing them, not so much. Yeah, we're trying to make this the second finished object for the year. We'll see how that works out. The first one is on a towel being blocked right now. I'm really ready for it to be done. Because I want to be able to package it up and everything like that. And I actually can't yet because I'm going to get some soak for the garment. It's a bandana cowl, by the way. Done in brioche, of all things. But like, I want to get some soak to send with it so that the person who receives this does not have to. Okie dokie, I will probably be here. I don't want someone to have to find like where to get certain things that they may not already use. Right? I'd rather just like send a sample and be like, hey, if you want more, this is where you can get it. Well, as soon as I'm done with this row, I'm probably going to split. So for some reason, it takes longer than the length of this row. You're welcome to follow me. I'm here most of the week. I won't say every day. I would like to get to the point where I stream daily. I certainly have enough projects to work on to do that. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. So what is the next section? Apparently, like, the only way to make these sections take like an hour is to just move really slowly. Which is not like me. Like I said, knitting's not a race. I just want to get done sooner. So I can do something else. It's pretty what. Crickets or nothing. Oh no, the envy monster is trying to come up. Get a real pet peeve. It's not particularly a nice thought, so I try not to dwell on it too much. Please could do. You can too. So we are gonna go to me, friend, their little, my little, their friend, and their little. We're all gonna go to an art festival thing this weekend. Now, what's funny about that is I have never been to this thing, and I've lived here, save 2 years, since 2003. Okay, so like the fact that I've never done this, been there, and I've like lived here over a decade is super weird. So it's an art show, right? Now I'm not much for art shows or fairs because I grew up with my mother doing them and me having to help, and then, you know, being allowed to kind of wander around at some point. And I don't much care for them. They're not my scene. When that's literally the only reason it's set up, boring. Now, the vendors at the Ren Fair, there's a lot of stuff going on there, right? And there's a wide variety of things. And there's food, and there's events, and there's singing, and there's all kinds of stuff, right? And then like things like the Fiber Festival, where that's very very specialized and very niche, right? And it still has some variety to it. Like, that's fine. But like just a generic art show or craft show, apparently I like to theme things. So. So here we are. Oh my goodness. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Some of these stitches are trying to twist all in on themselves. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So part of this whole failure issue I'm dealing with is I feel like for as long as I've been doing what I've been doing, I should be farther ahead than I am. And for whatever reason, I'm not. And it bugs me. And it kind of bugs me that it bugs me. Which sounds kind of silly in my brain when you say it like that. But yeah. It's weird. Brains are weird. So, gosh, wow, this sleepiness. I need more caffeine. I haven't had any of my green tea today, and I haven't had my latte yet. That's probably our problem right there. Both of which are sitting right next to me. Oh, goodness. Oh, sorry, I started a new book last night, too. I totally forgot who the guy was in it. There's a Riley and a Drew. And you've met Drew before in, like, the storylines that have happened before. Jen met Riley. And the reason Riley is in the same place as Drew is because they know somebody in common. And she's basically there to, like, show up to see that person. So, I'm curious to see how that's going to go over. I also have to remind myself, if I do not do my work, I will not make any progress. Now that said, I am so tired, I'm having a really hard time keeping my eyes open. Which seems to happen on stream a lot. Like, like, the tired just hits me. I don't know if it's the tired hitting me, or if streaming and having to be engaging, like, at the end of the day is the problem, or what. Like, I have no idea. So, And I got this star set song. I'm trying to play in my head. I'm not quite sure which one it is. Right. So I just hear, like, the melody playing, and that is it. And it's killing me because I hate when that happens. When you hear a song in your head and, like, you know the song, but you can't place any of the words. Vic, I'm back. It's the worst. Okay, so let's see. What is the last one? Okay, cool. So, Brian, if that's you, you came back just in time to watch me leave. Um, because this is the end of a section, like, it's not a lot of a section. It's probably about this much, right? I'm going to take pictures of this tomorrow. I've been trying to slow down my documentation process so that I take pictures more frequently and take more of them. So, for anybody watching this, checking this out later, thanks for stopping by. Pardon me waxing a little melancholic. It's been a long day. But I hope you enjoyed this little bit of knitting that we did and the random bits of conversation that were not completely and utterly depressing. Tomorrow we have to do section 17, and it's also going to be just 4 rows. And this is like we're eking towards the end because we got 21 sections. Now, I am going to keep knitting after I finish all this because I want to get as much of this to go away as possible. So I am probably going to do a few more repeats after this. Also, I feel like this right here is not big enough. It's not. So we need to use up as much of the as much of this as possible. Because right now it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like it doesn't feel shawl length at this point. It really doesn't. Now I guess theoretically, I could have bought more, right, of this and made it even longer, but the whole point was, I can get an entire shawl out of one skein. And that sounded great. So that's what we were trying to do. But thanks to everybody who stopped by, who watched. Thank you, Brian, for popping in. Sorry if I missed you when you popped back in. I'm tired though, and I have other things to do, so I'm gonna skedaddle now. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and good night, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same channel for another 4 rows, which just looks like nothing. I know. It's okay. It's okay. Toodles!